It is us to maintain the physicality or corporeality. But in 80s, they found the present day crisis predicted that one day we will be leading to a uncontrollable situation because of the development of the body only, materiality only business. But now later only America coined the word mind science. And therefore that also another name for meditation. And that together came the mindfulness. And mindfulness also another synonym for meditation and the mind science. And from the Pali point of view, from the Sri Lanka and the traditional Asiatic countries, is called sati. Sati means the mindfulness. Mindfulness is the word we are using in the Western world, and the literal word that we call sati and the mindfulness. And to give a little bit about the theoretical explanation, it says awareness. Awareness as to who am I. So now we are going to launch this kind of awakening or awareness, or shedding the light of mindfulness to each of us. So we can do it in 3 ways as far as the beginner is concerned. So I too always consider myself as a beginner. I invite each and every one of you to develop the beginner's mind. It's very innocent. It's a very, how do you call, very aesthetic, very poetic, the beginner's mind. So easy to teach and easy to learn. So one way of understanding of this mindfulness is you sit cross-legged and close your eyes and cut off all the senses. For example, close your eyes, go to a silent place, don't entertain smelling, don't entertain tasting, and the body also reduced to just bare breath. That means involuntary work. So you are not volitional, you are not willful, you just let it happen and be mindful, be aware. And that is what usually in the Asiatic countries people consider as the meditation and mindfulness. But today we are going to reach the point where we are going to introduce walking meditation. Walking meditation is not mere unvolitional, just a passive body you are observing, that is we call sitting meditation, cross-legged. Close your eyes and you can see the Buddha image wherever you see. He is in a cross-legged position. So the Buddha image, the meditation, sitting, all we get a similar idea. But walking meditation still invented by the Buddha. Nowhere you find it in the other holy scripts. Walking meditation, and that is not mere observing of the passive body, but while walking, while doing something, observe under the light of mindfulness. So for that, in the monasteries, early monasteries, they are walking paths. So present day, it is very difficult because of the space it is demanding. So therefore, walking, we have to be ready with the walking space. So whenever we are invited to have mindfulness sessions, we usually take 3 hours or something like that. And we specifically ask how many participants, do we have enough space to walk? So you for example, if you go to a school, we have a playground. If you are going to a big building, we are going to have corridors. And if you are near a beach or the open garden, we are making use. So now I am not going to demonstrate. Under the circumstances, it is difficult, but I will just give a briefing about walking meditation. I would like to make it a comparison between the sitting meditation, or say mindful sitting and mindful walking. The best way for you also is to have our videos. They are already prepared in different languages and different versions with the use of small children. It will be very, very informative. But anyway, as a participating lively, I also can give some briefing. I mentioned already, when you are doing mindful sitting, you sit cross-legged, so you need a maximum 1 square meter. Fairly, we can manage yourself within a square meter. But for walking meditation, we need at least 30 square meters. 10 meters, 10 square meters, 10 long and 1 meter breadth. So that much of a land area you need, which technically we call walking path, or in Sinhala we call Sakmana. So for that, you start sitting meditation with the cross-legged, and later you will close your eyes. But for walking meditation, you stand still in one corner of the path you selected or determined, and just look at the path by standing. So there you can see, while you are sitting, you can understand what are the touching points. And buttocks and the knees, maybe, if you are sitting on a straight back chair, you can, soles are touching, and whatever it may be, you have to see the touching point. But imagine now you are standing still, you are standing, and their touching points are soles. So if I am 65 kilos, that means in American point of view, 135 pounds. So when you are standing, half of that includes one sole, left sole and the right sole. Then you can understand. You are stand still, and in sitting meditation, you are supposed to close your eyes, mildly closing your eyes. But in walking meditation, you have to open your eyes, but it is downcasted. I am 5 feet and 9 inches. So I have to look 2 meters or 5 feet and 9 inches ahead on the ground, so that you are not looking straight forward, you are not looking at your legs, you are looking around 2 meters ahead according to your height. And that is the basic preparation. You have to be very simple. Hands must not be swinging. You are keeping the hand in front or behind, or binding around your chest. Whatever it may be, don't let the attention go to the hand. Instead, the attention to the lower part of your body. When compared with that sitting, your attention basically on the upper part of the body, lower part is fixed. Now with walking, lower part is dynamic, active, upper part is fairly fixed. And whenever you start, you can just walk up and down and see how you are familiarizing with the path. So that is casual, as you like, you can do it. In the video, we have mentioned it. And then we can start formally, whereby you are not looking at anything specifically. You just look at the ground, the path, the earth. The earth is the best with the sandy coverage. And as you keep on practicing, you take the whole way to the left leg and raise the right leg and place it in front of you. There you can see the weight shifting. Left leg going to get 136 pounds, and then next moment, that weight is shifted to the right leg. And then you completely balance on the right leg, and then swing your left leg to take the whole body weight. So while it is doing, you are not looking at something specifically, you are not hearing anything specifically. So basically it is recommended to have a forest or a suitable place where there are no much provocative visuals, and as well as disturbing sounds. And under such circumstances, when you keep on walking, you just see how the body weight is shifting. Or Or you can see when you are taking the weight of the body, first started with the heel and through the arch. It go to the ball and then to the end of the tip of the toes. So like how the weight shifting along your soul. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. So that you must not wear footwear. You must have the bare ground. And the ground is, if it is sandy, I mean half an inch sand layer, the best, the most luxurious. Or otherwise you can take a carpet. And that's also good. Maybe a lawn, maybe a bare earth. Or at last, you may even walk on the cement floor or something like that, but better avoid it in a cool climate. Otherwise, it must be a flat, straightforward path. While walking, you try to understand how much your attention, how much your mindfulness, how much your awareness can keep with the right leg, left leg, right leg, left. So this is simply basic instructions. So in sitting, to compare with, I have to give a little more information. In sitting, you may be observing the breath, or breathing in and out. Or you may be observing the expansion of your body, rubbing against your attire, the clothes. And when you are exhaling, how is breathing. So here the expansion, contraction, and or the tip of the nose, or the touching point. But in walking, the breathing is not the main item. You are going with the right leg, left leg, right leg, left. Breathing it may come, but it is not the main object. So when you are walking, definitely as beginners, you may entertain daydreaming, fantasizing, and wandering mind, other sounds, other visual objects. Of course, that is the way. But they don't worry. Main thing is not to worry. But still, again, as a beginner, you have to see the possibilities, how quickly we can come back to the walking soles, walking feet, the pressure points. The way it is coming back from the adverse objects or disturbing object or wandering object is called resilience. So some people in our society, in our peer groups, very, very resilient. Easily they can come back. Others are so much of complaining, very difficult for it to take it back to the primary object. So you're walking soul. So that is a very good measurement for you to think, for you to understand, how is my resilience? So that means you are not entertaining when wandering mind. Whenever wandering mind happens, you take 2 points in your mind. One thing, I am going to start it just like a beginner. And how come I come back to the primary? In American research, this is whenever mind is distracted by a adverse external object, it has 2 mental process to come back. Understanding my mind is wandering. Second thing is understanding now it is back in the primary object. But in Buddhist literature, we have very detailed explanation. We can go for these details later. Now I am mentioning, what I am mentioning is the wandering mind can happen, don't worry. See how quickly you can come back. And when you come back again, you start right, left, with noting or without noting, mental noting, and how quickly you can come back. So when you go to the other end of your desired, determined path, you stand still again. And then turn 180 degrees clockwise. And again stand. And again start like the beginner. And you can see how much you can preserve, sustain the mindfulness you brought up to that point, and how much it is distracted by turning, how much distracted by walking backward. So forward, backward, you may have around 20 to 30 steps. Each and every one you try to keep mindfulness, and they are not like in walking, which you have to do with so much of challenges. So therefore, it is very much training yourself for multitasking. Because in the day-to-day activities, you have to incorporate a lot of activities. Still, how can you maintain the mindfulness? So walking path is the connection between sitting meditation that is very calm, very passive, closed eyes and cross-legged. The other way, we are doing the school work and the office work and all kind of multitasking. The walking mindfulness or mindful walking come in between. It's a pacemaker. So therefore, many people, specifically for non-contagious detrimental diseases like heart attack, diabetes, and tension, frustration, the mindful walking is the panacea. So people are, that is why, going for walking, jogging, and all the kind of things. They are going to the gymnasium. But if you have a path, and if you are spending daily, let's say 10 minutes to 30 minutes, I can guarantee you how quickly mind and the body learn the resilience, how quickly you are all the fatigue and obesity and all the other mental situation, you yourself can see. You become the doctor, you become the patient, mindful become the medicine, and pharmaceutical industry not necessary. We can say goodbye. That's how the Buddha lived 80 years. Daily he walked at least 10 miles. That means little more than 15 kilometers daily. 80 years. No shoes. 45 years. Imagine how much we are artificial in our American or Florida way of living. So whenever I go to Florida, I take everyone out and let them walk barefoot. And that is very, very good for children. So therefore, little bit practice this and see how much you feel like sharing it with others. Many people are sick. They have 2 cars, air condition, and a good job, white collar jobs, and all the kind of thing. But more than 40% using drugs for tension and frustration and no appetite, no sleepiness. All these things will be erased off, rectified if you start do walking meditation. Usually it is recommended to do one person alone. That maybe if you are walking in a big garden, for so to say, in a big playground, other people also may doing walking, it doesn't matter. But if you are walking in a single path, there are some conditions of the sitting meditation mentality also can impose. So therefore, do whatever the facilities available, do walking meditation, and I'm very happy to listen from you. I have an inspiring reports from the prison, how they are some broken legs. People, girls are walking with the crutches. How do they experience it? How do they explain it? And how prisoners are, how murderers, how people sentenced to death experience the walking meditation, how abused young children explain walking meditation. It's such a release. So therefore, don't wait till you become drug addicts. Don't wait till you become a prisoner. Don't wait till you become such a devastating situation. Now you are better off to do walking meditation, and please take this chance, and future of your life is definitely better, definitely healthier, and the understanding about the avenue of mind or mind science, you will be an expert within a very short period. Because now we are completely forgotten about that. That is called the well-being. We are expert on the external things. We are expert on extrovert. But introvert, who am I? What am I? What is the walking meditation before and after sitting? What is the sitting meditation before and after? What's the walking meditation before sleeping? So much of things. So with that remark, I would like to sum up my presentation. A few minutes available. If someone is having any question or any suggestion, I am happy.
If anyone has any question, you can raise your hand or you can put it in the chat box, please. Thank you.
I hope Chandratana is available.
Sanas, I am there.
Yeah. Or if you have anything to say, there was something on the chat. I'm sorry, I did not.
Yeah, actually, I hope to show the walking meditation video so that everybody can look at it and get more
5 minutes
detailed
available, so
understanding.
you can go ahead. 5 minutes available.
Okay. Okay, then I'll show the video so that everybody can see it.
I am going to take the Vinay discussion, so I will take leave. Thank you very much for the everything organizing. Whenever possible, I also will try to join. Okay, please carry on.
Thank you so much, Bhante. So much medicine.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Mindful walking. You may already know you can practice to be mindful in any posture, such as sitting down, walking, lying down, or you can be mindful doing any day-to-day activity. But today, let's see how we practice mindful walking. First, we need to find a place to do our mindful walking. You could practice mindful walking indoor or outdoor when the weather permits, ideally on a sand or a gravel walking path. You can also do it on a lawn. But today, we'll be using a sand walking path. Make sure you have enough space to walk about 20 to 30 steps up and down comfortably. Walking barefoot is preferred whenever that is practical. To begin with, it's recommended that you do a few rounds of walking back and forth where you choose to do your mindful walking. Walk in a relaxed and natural pace. This will help you to warm up and be ready. Before you begin your session, at the starting point of your walking path, stand still. Keep your arms in a comfortable position, by your side, at the back, or in the front. But don't swing the arms to and fro. Be aware that you are about to start mindful walking. From now on, you have no dealings with the outside world. Your only friend is mindfulness. Now for a minute or two, be mindful of your posture. Be aware that you are not sitting down or lying down, but standing up. Note how your feet touch the ground. Feel how your body weight evenly distributes on each of your feet. Keep your eyes open and downcast. Look in the direction of the ground at about 2 meters in front of you, but not anything in particular. Now start walking. Keep a relaxed and natural pace. Let your body knowledge determine the right pace for you. Be mindful that you're walking. Your attention is focused on your lower part of the body. Be attentive to the movement of your feet, the shift from left to right. Note the sensations. What do you feel? Focus on different parts of your soul, heel, arch and toes. Do you feel a difference in hardness, softness, or in temperature in different parts of your soul? When you reach the end of the path, bring both feet together and stand still for a moment. Slowly turn around, being aware that you are turning. It is important that we note the actions and sensations as they occur, not before or after. At any point of this process, if you see or hear something, or you realize that you are not mindful on your walking, that's perfectly fine. Bring your attention back to the process of walking. Note the sensations as your foot touches the ground. Every time you turn, note that you are turning. If thoughts arise, note those, but do not get involved. Don't try to suppress your thoughts. Continue with mindful walking. Relax and enjoy the act of walking. Now it's time to end the walking session. Carry your mindfulness into the sitting session. But remember, slowly, mindfully, and silently. Practice mindful walking at home. Carry your mindfulness into a sitting session. Let others join as well.
I hope all of you watched the video. So now you can get up from your seats and start the walking meditation. Once you hear the the bell rings, you can come back to your seats and then we can start the second part. Thank you. Please come back to your seats. Now we have actually entered the second part of the session, mindful sitting. I would like to introduce our next teacher. Actually, you have already met Venerable Pandru Chandratana Thero. Pandru Chandratana Thero also has a fascinating path to monkhood. In his lay life, he graduated from University of Murtua as electrical engineer, obtained his master's in computer science from University of Murtua, and worked successfully in different organizations in Sri Lanka, Singapore, and the US. He became a monk in 2008 under the most venerable Udairiyagama Dhammajiva Thero. After returning from Burma, he is with Most Venerable Udairiyagama Dhammajiva Thero and serves as the Deputy Abbot of Nissaranavanaya. Also, Chandratana Thero is known for his ability to explain complex Dhamma concepts with simplicity and compassion. With great respect, I would like to invite Venerable Chandratana Thero to commence the introduction to mindfulness sitting. Theruwan Sarnai Bante.
Yeah, Theruvan Sarnai Shalika. So Shalika is my batchmate, so I think you all know. So anyway, so we are now going to start the mindful sitting session. So anyway, actually, as a tradition or as a custom, we can start always mindful sitting after mindful walking, because mindful walking, as Bante Dhammajiva mentioned, help to warm up ourselves and to bring our attention back to ourselves, establish mindfulness. And in the sitting session, we are doing very much like a refinement of that developed or established mindfulness. So now then we can sit comfortably, and you can close your eyes. When you are closing your eyes, you can do it in a gentle manner. Don't make too much effort, just gently close your eyes. And keep your head straight, neck also straight, and your upper half of the body also straight. And don't make it a rigid posture. It has to be a quite comfortable posture, but at the beginning we are maintaining fairly a straight posture. But during the session, if it is a little bit adjusting, let it happen. So the body knows exactly what would be the most comfortable posture. So during the session, there could be minor adjustments. So let it happen. Don't rigidly hold the posture, rather allow the body to do little adjustments. Now you can take a deep breath, hold it for a while, and then gently release. Slowly come back to yourself. We can open up ourselves and listen to various sounds available in the environment. So at the moment we are opening the mind rather than focusing the mind. Now have a kind of an open mind. Sounds happen from various directions. So our open attitude, open mind, let everything come inside, but we are not holding anything. We can simply notice them. Let them come and let them go. So probably you can hear sounds of vehicles, maybe sounds of animals, maybe dog barking, birds chirping. Many things would be possible. Just let them happen, and you are simply aware of them with a pleasant mind. You are not having any kind of a resistance towards any of these sounds. They become a part of our mindfulness. They simply happen and we are aware of it. Now again we can take a deep breath, hold it for a while, and then gently release. Now you can see whether what I am mentioning is possible to recognize. Eyes are gently closed. There's a slight sensation at your eyes. Lips are gently touching. And there is no any tension in the face. So you are in a very relaxed mood. Let go of all the incidents happened in the past, or don't go ahead with daydreaming, fantasizing, expectations. Just come back to the present moment. This present moment is quite ordinary, quite simple, but at the moment that is what we are trying to adhere to, or we are trying to appreciate. So just be with this present moment. With the body behaves like an anchor to a wandering ship. Similarly, our wandering mind, again and again, we are bringing back to the body. Do it in a gentle manner. Not there is no rush. There is no any kind of a burden. We are trying to enjoy the present moment, whatever it happens. Again, take a deep breath, hold it for a while, and then release. We keep our head straight, neck straight, shoulders in a relaxed position. We are not holding shoulders effortfully, rather they are quite restful. Arms may be resting on your lap. And probably now you can feel clothes touching your body at various places. So these are quite ordinary experiences, but right now we give more prominence to them. We are trying to recognize them. Little sensations available throughout the body. As we move down, we can recognize the abdominal movement, the rising and falling of the abdomen. When we breathing in, rising happens. When we breathing out, falling happens. So we are gently aware of that process. We can be mindful about that process. You can take a deep breath again, hold it for a while, and gently release. If your mind still wanders, you can note when rising happens. You are aware of it and you can mentally note it as rising. When falling happens, you can mentally note it as falling. If you are familiar with mindfulness breathing, mindful breathing, you can keep your attention at the nostril and let it happen naturally. And when in-breath happens, you can note it as in. And when out-breath happens, you can note it as out. Keep it very simple. Don't complicate it. So give a little time and a little task to the mind. So task is to recognize each in-breath, each out-breath. Whenever in-breath happens, you have to be there. Whenever out-breath happens, you have to be there. And give a kind of an order to the mind. Don't miss any breaths. So if mind wanders, it might miss some in-breaths and some out-breaths, because breathing continues even though the mind wanders. So it's a task assigned to the mind is to recognize each in-breath, each out-breath. Like you assign a task to a child, now we assign a task to the mind. That is to recognize each in-breath, each out-breath. Do it like a spot. If mind wanders, recognize it, gently get it back. Okay, I think we can close our eyes and get back to the session. Basically, as I mentioned, you usually have to start with mindful walking. It may warm up the body and again bring your attention back to the body. Various wandering thoughts may become less and less. And that established mindfulness is what now we are refining or improving during the sitting session. So in the sitting session, actually, it is better to find out a quite comfortable place, and it has to be little illuminated, not kind of a gloomy place. And if you can find a open environment, maybe in your garden, then that would be much better. But if you can have a say closed, maybe in a room, that's also fine. But you will probably will understand. But if you have an environment where you may feel some sunshine and may probably the wind happens, so that is more closer to the environment, and slowly you may start to appreciate that. And the sitting, actually, it has to happen quite naturally. I mean, you are not forcing yourself and you are not trying to control breathing. Rather, slowly you understand the pace. Actually, at the beginning, sometimes we unnecessarily put too much energy, and therefore we sometimes even interrupt the process. But later you may understand you don't need to. Rather, things are happening naturally. It's a matter of looking at it like an outsider. So this beautiful balance, slowly you may understand. It's a practical point. I mean, you can listen to various Dhamma sermons, you can read so many books, but this beautiful balance you have to learn by yourself. It may happen kind of a trial and error. Sometimes we put too much energy, sometimes we are not putting enough energy, so that we feel drowsy and ultimately even one may sleep. Later you may understand, okay, this is a kind of a delicate balance I have to maintain, so mind is not wandering, and at the same time mind remains quite alert. So likewise we can improve our meditation. And I think so those are the few things that I like to share with you. Now I like to open the session for questions. So if you have any questions related to what we did today, and anything that about your own meditation, then we can spend some time. Okay, nobody wants to share their experience. Anyway, I think there are many, I can see some experienced meditators here in the group, and maybe there are some who are quite new to mindfulness. Actually, we start with like this, I mean, say mindful sitting, mindful walking, and later we can spread this mindfulness to various other activities as well. Say while eating, you can be mindful. Say while having a bath, you can be mindful. Say probably while brushing your teeth, you can be mindful. So slowly you have to spread this activity, be mindful to various other daily activities, because everybody can understand that we can't spend long time in sitting or walking. We have maybe various other commitments, but when you are engaged with so many other things, still you can introduce mindfulness to those activities. As I mentioned, say you are doing brushing the teeth alone every day. Sometimes we are thinking about the future, what I'm going to do after going to the office or to the college. So likewise, we are having so much of plans, but the body is doing some sort of an activity. So our intention is to bring our attention, bring our focus to this whatever the bodily activity at the beginning. So if it is we engage with brushing our teeth, then probably we can do it mindfully. So likewise, it's a matter of reminding ourselves to be mindful again and again, because our mind likes to wander, mind likes to think various different things, maybe rumination, maybe sort of fantasizing. So we are very much like addicted to this kind of obsessive thinking, so that we have to remind again and again to ourselves. Then only we can establish mindfulness on whatever the bodily activity that we are engaged with. So these are few things I like to share with you. And so this is actually we thought of doing as a one-time program, because there are several other programs we conduct, especially to the, say, so actually there's one question coming from the audience. I would like to know the importance and benefits of mindfulness in day-to-day life. Yeah, actually, so one thing that we need to understand is that we are not living in the present moment. Most probably we maybe think about the past, what has happened, and maybe regretting about what has happened, and maybe thinking about the future, various expectations about our children, about our parents, maybe what's going to happen in the country. So many things are there for us to get distracted. So therefore we completely forget the present moment. We completely forget, I mean, what we are going to, what's happening right now. So that is what we are calling as bare attention. So first of all, we need to establish mindfulness, what we call as bare attention. So look at what happened in the present moment. So it's a kind of a waking up process. So very much like we are dreaming, we are living in a dream, but right now we are waking up. So that's a very main advantage, that we are living now. We become kind of open to the present moment, connected to the present moment, connected to ourselves. Otherwise, I mean, our minds are wandering everywhere, scattered. But when we establish mindfulness, okay, I come back, now I am living, now I am sitting, now I am walking, say, now I am eating, now I am brushing the teeth. So likewise, very much like connected to yourself, grounding, earthing ourselves. So this is one important thing, because more and more fantasizing, more and more expectations, maybe sort of regrets, all these things actually crowd the mind. All these things actually make the mind sort of burdened, very heavy, stressful. But when you are grounding yourself, earthing yourself, coming back to the present moment, it's very much like you are releasing all these pent up energy. So again, you are well established, coming back home, something like that. So that is one thing. The other thing, as Bhante Dhammajiva also mentioned, say if you consider walking meditation, mindful walking, so that there are various benefits, like you can simply walk, and that would be a simple exercise, and your digestion process may happen naturally, more conveniently, and so that you become more healthy. And the developed concentration remains for a long time, because you are developing amid sort of disturbances. So unlike sitting meditation, say when you do mindful walking, there are so many distractions available, but still you are now trying to establish mindfulness where you want. Say if it is your foot, say you are keeping your attention there, left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot. So likewise you are doing it, but there are so many other distractions available. But this skill that you are developing, proper aiming of the mind, proper concentration of the mind, timing of the mind, so all these are very much like a mental exercise, so that would be helpful in your daily activities, and again as a kind of a character when we are developing ourselves, very much like among various other challenges, how to achieve our goal. So these are the things actually slowly we are developing through the session. And again, when we have some refined mindfulness, so we can understand whatever the situation in a more different or deep manner from various directions, without simply looking at in a kind of a narrow way. So we can look at from various angles, so that we can get a proper decision. So decision making is another long-term benefit that we are getting, proper decision making, because sometimes we take decisions emotionally, or kind of with some biased manner. But when you are mindful, you can see various situations, various facets of the problem, because you can look at it deeply, look at it from different directions, so that you can get an unbiased kind of a solution. And I got another question. Dear Swaminathan, say we are concentrating on eating, mindfully eating or any other activity. Do you have any tips, advice to keep ourselves neutral, or rather in the middle path, rather than thinking of the sensations and wandering off? Say, for example, mindfully eating, one's mind can wander off and get too attached to the tasty food or digested by not so tasty food. How can we maintain a neutral mindset? Yeah, actually, it happens naturally. I mean, I can't say that it happens immediately. Say, for example, now today we did mindfulness on breathing. So sometimes we may understand, okay, unnecessary, I am putting too much energy. Why am I struggling? You may recognize that because breathing is something happened all this time, but it happened naturally. But now when we are trying to be mindful, sometimes we unnecessarily put too much effort and we are trying to force breathing. But later you may understand, okay, I don't need to do this. Let it happen naturally. So let me observe it in a little distant manner, kind of a distant observation. So this is a kind of an art that we are learning. So when that is possible, you can apply the same methodology to various other activities as well. Say you are eating. Now, if we are too much involved, then probably we are eating too slowly and we are chewing it too long. And I mean, we are complicating the thing. But on the other hand, if we are not paying enough attention, then the mind wanders. Now, when we know the exact balance, okay, the eating also happens. We can recognize various flavors, and the whole process we are fully aware. Mind is also not wandering. It's a kind of an art. It's a kind of an art that we are learning, so that slowly we are be with the process. So there are various bodily activities going on, and we can simply be with that activities. And it is not that we allow the mind to wander. No, we are too much involved with the activity so that we get lost in the activity. So it's a kind of a two extremes that we have to play. We have to be mindful. Within the mindful space, the activity is happening. Something like that. Yeah.
But there is another question in the chat. Is planning for activities in the future considered mindfulness?
You mean another session with activities?
Yeah, is planning for activities in the future. That is
Ah,
the plan, planning for something. Can you
okay,
consider as
okay.
like a mindfulness?
Yeah. Actually, you can do, because I mean, it doesn't mean that we always have to be in the present moment, prohibiting all the planning and designing and all sort of things. But when mindfulness is there, you can mindfully plan. That's an interesting point. So typically what happens is when we start thinking, ultimately thinking completely grabs our attention and we are driven by thinking. Now we can't even stop. So we have very much like become a victim of thinking. So we have lost completely the present moment. So that is where we go wrong. But in the exercise, what we need to do, so when fair amount of mindfulness is available, so you can think about the future, you can plan about the future, but under your surveillance. It's very much like under your control. So you know what exactly mind is thinking, what exactly mind is trying to plan. Suppose it is doing it properly. I mean, it's designing and planning and various things are there, quite useful, and it's getting some results. And under your purview, under your control, under your surveillance. And after that, suppose that the task is done, say your design is completed, your plan is done, then keep the mind again quite aware, just mindful, just silent. So it's a kind of a skill that we have to develop. So therefore, developing mindfulness does not mean that we have to completely avoid thinking about the past or completely avoid thinking about the future. But all these things can happen within the mindful space. So therefore, you don't need to worry. So all these things are possible, but kind of within the monitoring process. Yeah.
But I have a question.
Yeah.
If someone has very, I know as you you and most Dhammajiva Thero mentioned, it's always better to start with the walking meditation and then go back to the sitting. So if someone this hectic life, it's hard to find time. So someone may not be able to do both at the same time. like, if we have like a 15 minutes or 20 minutes, I know I want to do some meditation, I want to practice mindfulness. What do you suggest for a beginner?
I think mindful walking would be more sort of beautiful, because mindful sitting is make yourself little lethargic and too much bring our attention back to the concentration, and the concentration is the one given more emphasis, and ultimately you fall asleep, because this is a kind of a kind of a pitfall available in the mind in the sitting, because sometimes it is more biased towards concentration. Now ultimately your mind may focus on one thing and it may get latched with it, and ultimately you get absorbed with it and you may even sleep. You very much like unconscious. But in the mindful walking, it's quite different. I mean, you are very awake, so you have to volitionally you have to walk, and there are various other distractions still available, but you have to be mindful. So it's a kind of a challenge, kind of a sport in a way. So that's why when if say you are teaching mindfulness to children, so they may not like mindful sitting, but they like mindful walking because it's like a sport. So mind wanders, again you have to bring it back, again mind wanders, again you bring it back. So therefore it's more kind of a fresh activity. At the same time you can develop mindfulness. So I recommend therefore mindful walking if you have enough chance, and then actually we can under the develop mindfulness, further developing concentration is no harm, because there are certain skills that we have to develop. One thing is mindfulness, another thing is concentration, the other thing is wisdom. So among these three, always keeping mindfulness in front is quite important, because it is very much like the factor observing what is really going on. It is the one telling you, okay, this is enough, this is less, okay, this is something that you need to do, this is something now too much, you have to reduce it. So likewise, that governing process or the say monitoring process is completely done by mindfulness.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yeah. Okay, I think we can share with you some information regarding the activities that we already do, because let me share my screen again. So these are few sessions that we conduct. So actually I am conducting. So if you like, you can join with them. So on Sunday morning from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. there is a single medium session. Sri Lanka time, everything is in Sri Lanka time. And then again Sunday mindfulness for young adult session, but that may not be convenient to you. It is from actually 2:30 to 4 p.m. Now the time has changed, 2:30 to 4 p.m. But on Wednesdays we have sutta teaching session, that we takes various suttas mainly related to the insight meditation, and we are trying to develop get some insights, get some kind of a guidance from suttas. So that is again from 7 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. actually led by US one lady called Jennifer. So that is something that you can join. And again Shalika is conducting this program that is happening every last Saturday, clarity of mind through mindfulness. So this is also a very interesting program. So we take various topics and discuss and again do a kind of a presentation and then a discussion, and again we do mindful sitting practice as well, and again a brief question and answer session. So these are the activities available for you. And again Bhante Dhammajiva conducts another program in on every Tuesday from 8:30 to 9:30 or 9:45. So that is another program you can join. So these are the English programs mainly that we are conducting. So those are the things that I like to share with you. So many other things are also there, like in the say if you go to Nissaranavanaya website, so many other programs are available. But the only thing is the time difference. That's what I am just sharing certain activities more convenient to you. And there is another program on every Friday conducted by Bhante Dhammajiva and Venerable Dhammakusala. That is also convenient to you, starting from 7 a.m. and available till about 8:30 something. So that is also available. So I think I can send all these details to yeah, I'll send these details to Shalika. Maybe she can send it across to everyone. Right now, I don't have everything compiled as a one document. Then there is someone is asking, Bante, can we have this in a document form via email? Sure. I mean, that's what. Please submit your email address to Shalika or Miss Chinta, so that if I can send every details to them. Then you can ask all details from them. Anything
Thank you
else?
very
If you anything else if you want to ask, any comments? So if you need another introductory program, I mean, probably I myself and Bhante Dhammajiva can discuss about it. Otherwise, you all can join with already available programs.
Yeah, it seems like there are no more questions, Bhante. So thank you so much, and much merits to you, to the both Most Venerable Dhammajiva Thero and Chanratana Thero for setting the path to mindfulness practice for us. And thank you all for joining with us. And I like to thank Chinta Hettiarachi for coordinating this session. So hope you enjoyed and learned a good background of the mindfulness practice. And thank you very much.
Yeah, Teruvan Sannai.
Tirosana Bhante.
Yeah.
Everyone, Sarnai Bhante, thank you.
Teruvan Saranai. Can I speak?
Yes, I'm not sure whether Bhante has left the session.
Okay. Thank you. Thank
You're
you for all your help. It's a very important session. We are the beginners. Thank you.
Yes, definitely. Like because most of your email addresses I don't have. So if you actually join through like Chinta, so you can when Bhante shares that information, you can get it. Otherwise, you can put your email address in this chat box, so I can share the information of his current programs.
Okay. Teruvan Saranai.
Teruvan Saranai.